Call this meeting to order of the Hawarden City Council. This is a regular City Council meeting. We're at the Hawarden City Hall in the Council Chambers Room. It is Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, and it is 5:30 p.m. Starting with our standard agenda items, we've got approval of the February 11th, 2026 regular meeting minutes. That was in your packet. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
And we got a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Passes 4-0. 1B, approval of the February 25, 2026 claims for payment. Motion, please.
So moved.
And a
Second.
Are there any questions about the claims tonight? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Thank you. At this time, we've got open business from the community. Do we have anyone who would like to speak with us?
Excuse me, Mayor, I think you're missing a council person.
We are.
So the vote would be 4-0, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Isn't that what I said?
No. I believe you said 5.
Oh, okay. It is 4-0. Anything else? If not, then we'll move on to the mayor's report. I don't have a report tonight. So staff reports and discussion. We'll start with Jacob.
Yes, I just wanted to thank the hospital for putting on a good banquet last night with a nice speaker from Avera to kind of tell us about the background of that, and it was definitely a good event. I also want to say that we have the Shelter House Chamber Coffee tomorrow at 10 a.m., which is also going to be the ribbon cutting. That's going to be for our new Veteran Memorial Shelter House out in the park. It is going to be good. Our offices will actually be closed from 9:30 to 11:30 so that our staff can set up and then clean up afterwards. So, and that is all I got for our staff report today.
Okay. Thank you. Travis.
I wanted to update the council on our flood funding. There's been a lot in the news about communities getting flood monies for the flood. So to date, we have spent $1,421,958.19 on the flood recovery, with approximately $140,000 left to spend on project damage. We've received currently $789,071.69 total. We just got an email today with another $250,000 that's going to be coming in. But our remaining obligated federal funding and state funding is $733,967. So as you can see, we're actually, the bottom line, we're sitting very well with the money that was spent and the monies that we have received and know that are coming. They're obligated to us. So we were able to save some money as far as out-of-pocket cost, using our own equipment and man hours, managing the flood and the recovery. A lot of this is reimbursable as well, like when we're fighting the flood. At closeout of all the projects, I'll also be able to submit for management costs incurred managing all the paperwork and actually doing some of the projects. This will account for some of our costs that aren't covered by the federal and state share. So we're, bottom line, we're sitting really good. I've also been working with Williams and Company. They're our auditor. They are doing a special separate audit of our flood costs and reimbursements for FY25. This is due to our threshold of monies received from the federal government. And these costs that we've just talked about, they do not reflect the property acquisition project. This is a separate project, separate item, separate project. And as discussed at our last meeting, the state has a grant process that will help us cover our 15% local share in that one as well. So all in all, it was a terrible flood, but we're coming through it.
Thank you for that. Misty, do you have anything tonight?
Nope, I don't have anything.
Okay. Chief DePriest?
As I mentioned before, last week, Lexipol had moved our policy manual to a new platform. I wasn't really sure what that was going to look like, but I was able to get in there for a little bit today and mess around with it, and it seems pretty easy to use and user-friendly, and so I don't think it's going to create any kind of delay in getting the manual issued. So that's good news.
Yeah. Great. Carol?
I'm continuing to work on the strategic plan for the city. I'm focusing on the industrial park sites. I'm working with a few industries on certified sites. We will not certify any of those sites, but I would like to at least be in their database to kind of work with them on getting our industrial park out there. Tomorrow at the open house, I'm going to take a few minutes of time to formally thank the Roy J. Carver Foundation for their contribution to our shelter house project. The $40,000 that they donated was instrumental in getting the additional bathroom, the HVA system, some of the nicer upgrades that you'll see in the shelter house made them possible for us, and we truly do thank them for that contribution. I'm working with a couple of organizations. Just a reminder, the Siouxland Community Foundation grants are open. So if you are a nonprofit or need fiscal sponsorship from the city for a project you have, please let me know. We're more than happy to assist with that. That's the City of Hawarden Foundation and the Sioux County Foundation. Another thing with the strategic plan, I'm trying to kind of work with some homeowners on beautification, trying to get some of the houses around the community and some of our homes to be just a little bit nicer. Northwest Iowa Housing Trust Fund has again extended a very, very large welcome for us to put in more applications. So I have been actually working with a couple more homeowners this week on that. I was able to hit submit on the police grant, so we're off and running. Hopefully they'll get with me on that. We were successful, and we were awarded the DOT grant for the street department. That was a very nice award for us, getting us some of that equipment that we need for the safety of our street workers. Travis knows more about that than I do. But we were successful in that grant application. The USDA, I did open up the application for the local share that the USDA is going to cover for our communities that were affected by the flood in '24. I did communicate with them that we are 100% in. We want all the money we can get. So we did hit start application, and hopefully we're waiting some information from them to forward to us just to finish that process out. But we'll be very aggressive on that. I am signed up and now studying to be a certified zone specialist. We are a foreign trade zone here in Hawarden. We have the only operator in the foreign trade zone of Northwest Iowa. So I'm going to continue that momentum, working with a couple of the gals at Coilcraft to get a little bit more involvement, and hopefully that will tie into bringing someone into our industrial park. This is a tremendous tool to offer an incoming business, so I'd like to focus on that quite a bit more. That's it.
Lots of great things going on there, Carol. Thank you so much for that. Jenny, anything tonight? Nothing, thank you. Okay. At this time, we'll open it up to council comments. Anyone have anything? Nope. None. Okay. Nope. Then let's move on to other agenda items. Item 3 is library annual update. Maddie.
Hello. Do I need to do it? Oh, it's on.
Yep, you're on.
Right? I'm good.
Yep.
Okay. Wonderful. Well, thank you for letting me come and speak tonight. First and foremost, I just want to thank you for your continued support. Because of you, I get to do a job that I love. I'm Maddie. Obviously, I'm the director of the Hawarden Public Library. I joined the library in 2018 as a programming and children's librarian. I was then hired as a director in September of 2020. So I've been in my position for 5.5 years. Very full circle moment for me. Growing up in Ireton, the Hawarden Public Library was my library. And so now I get to work there, and I now also get to help raise my 2 kids in the library as well. I have 2 daughters. Nola is up there inside giant magnet tiles. That's a set that we can borrow from the State Library of Iowa. So if you see those magnetic tiles that I'm sure a lot of your kids have, those are just a giant version. And Lennon attended a morning program where we offered breakfast for a roll, bike, and walk to school event, so she was taking advantage of that. I also have a wonderful staff that works at the library with me. Julie Coyle is our programming librarian. We have Diane Brunsting, Jean Streit, and Diane Tenaple joined us in 2025. Jerry Kelly is our cleaning lady, and these women are fantastic. I could not do what I do without them. If you see Jerry, give her an extra special shout out. We have our pest control come every single month, and they come to stop us and tell us that they can tell how fantastic our cleaning lady is. And so if you see her out and about, remind her that she's doing an awesome job. So before I start talking about our library specifically, I just want to give you a quick glance at Sioux County libraries. I'm sure we all know that Sioux County is unique in a lot of different ways, but we are especially unique with our libraries. We have 8 independent public libraries. That means that Alton is not a branch of the Orange City Library. Hull is not a branch of the Rock Valley Library. There are 8 separate libraries, and we do our best to work together and collaborate. So this was a graphic that we made for the Sioux County supervisors, just to show them that as a county, this is what it looks like. The Sioux County supervisors have also been amazingly supportive to us. They are required to give us funding, but they give above and beyond because they also see the value in public libraries, and so we appreciate that. As a county, we work together to collaborate in a number of different ways. We have a program called One Book, One Sioux County, where we pick a book every year and we try to get the whole county to read it. Last year's was The Frozen River by Ariel Lawton, and then we flew her in and she did a speaking engagement last fall for us. We also collaborate in a number of different ways. We have our Libby app, which is an app through the state of Iowa where you can read ebooks and listen to audio. The one downside of it is for really, really popular books, you have to wait a long time. So we got together and we talked about, well, how can we serve Sioux County one step further? So through the Siouxland Foundation grant, we received money to start buying additional copies of books for patrons in Sioux County to cut down on their wait times, and we saw such a huge jump in numbers with that, so we have continued to set aside money every year to serve those who may only do ebooks or e-audio. We want to continue to serve them as well. So that's just a quick little graphic for the county as a whole. Narrowing it down just to Hawarden, that's the checkouts we had in 2025 for our books, our juvenile and our young adult books, and then all of our other materials, DVDs, audiobooks, and magazines, coming in for a total of 15,989 items were checked out last year at our library. Another report that I like to run at the end of every year is I like to just see our top members. And so we do have more than 100 people that check out books, but even number 100 on the list is still checking out 29 items and saving $756. When you check out from the library, you get a little slip, and at the bottom it shows you how much you've saved. But at the end of every year, I still like to reach out to our top 10 or our top 20 and just remind them, this is the money that you saved by checking out books versus buying them somewhere. And so you can see our number 1 person checked out 544 materials and saved almost $9,000, which is really exciting to see at the end of the year. Something that we participate in is called interlibrary loans. We loan books to libraries throughout the state of Iowa. We then get reimbursed from the state library for how many transactions we have. So in 2025, we borrowed 180 books and we loaned out 459 books. This is really great because we can borrow from larger libraries who have a bigger collection. We borrow books for our book club every month because we don't have 10 copies of a book. And so it helps cut down on our costs. If there are books that people are wanting that for whatever reason we don't own, we can borrow them from another library in the state. The state also provides a service called Iowa Shares. They've partnered with the AEA, and we used to have to package up every book, label it, and mail it through the post office. We now have a delivery service, and so every Friday we have an AEA driver that stops by and he picks up everything that we're sending out and comes and drops off everything that's coming back to us. So that's another wonderful service that the state has provided for us to help us cut down on costs. So once again, when I was talking about collaboration inside the county, Another thing that we have decided to do to once again continue to serve our county patrons is we have looked at how to do interlibrary loans even quicker. So there are 6 of us out of the 8 libraries in Sioux County that happen to be all on the same system. There's no rhyme or reason for that. We just all happen to be using a product called Apollo. And what we were able to do is we were able to integrate our catalogs and our patrons, and so we can share within the county. I can also go to any of those other county libraries and use my Hawarden library card. I don't have to have 6 different library cards, and our system just kind of does some of the extra work for us. For instance, if there was a book that I really wanted that I put on reserve because our copy was checked out, if our copy did not come back in within 3 days, the computer automatically requests it out to the other county libraries. They get a notification, they scan the book, and it just says, send to Hawarden. As soon as it gets to Hawarden, we scan it in, and we can see that it's on reserve for whoever. And so that just kind of cuts down on the time, as opposed to getting a book from Dubuque. We can maybe get it from Orange City, makes things quicker, and just continues to once again serve those patrons even more. This is just a quick glance at some of our top titles of the year. Frida McFadden, once again, is our top author. She was our top author last year as well. Wild Dark Shore was another title. I did a partnership with Sunday Ford out at the Nature Center where we did a book talk. You read the book, I brought the questions, and Sunday and her interns brought visuals and other things nature-related that we could discuss. And so that was a fun program that we did last August. Nonfiction's up on top. That book, Alive Day, is actually David Larson's son-in-law, so if you're interested in that, stop by your library. Juvenile fiction, graphic novels still hold our top spots. They have became popular and held strong, and that's just one of our picture books. As much as we love books at the library, we also love programming, partnerships, and outreach. That's just a quick glance of some of our favorite outreach and partnership programs. We have our Pizza with a Purpose. We partner with the Pizza Ranch and the Hawarden Fire Department and EMS to serve pizzas, and then the money donated from tips and 10% of sales then just goes to local families during the holiday season. We partnered with Eli Copeman's and Dust Star. Eli needed to do a National Honor Society project, and so we created a Touch a Truck event. He brought the truck. We brought the story walk. Next to that is we are standing in the back of an ambulance. That is for our Kickstand Adventure Club. That's something that we started last summer, but then unfortunately had to cut it short due to the flood. We meet in the parking lot on our bikes, and then we bike to local businesses. They give us a tour, and they answer any question that comes out of the kids' mouths. And so in 2025, I just want to give a quick thank you. We got to visit Sunshine Foods, the City of Hawarden, Heartland Appliance, Hawarden Regional Healthcare, Hawarden EMS, Hawarden Fire Department, Alpha Golf Carts, and Route 10. The other great thing about Hawarden is when you reach out to them with an idea like this, it's always an absolutely yes. So we really appreciate all of our community partners. Picture right above that is from our community block party. Picture above that is we had a program for National Roll, Bike, or Walk to School. That's just a day in May where you encourage students to roll, bike, or walk. So we had breakfast in the parking lot, and then they could head off to the elementary school. We visit the Ironton Elementary the first week of every month. Julie and I do for an outreach program. We see them during their library classes, and we read a story and do an activity. We just want to start those partnerships early. Julie also goes to We Care every single week. I would love to go with her, but I know that if I do, I will be bringing my kids back with me, and they need to stay there. We participated in the Christmas tree decorating contest at the Nature Center and won People's Choice. So there I am receiving that. A couple other fun programs that we did this past year. We have 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten, which is a national initiative for students to read 1,000 books before kindergarten. So we have a couple of graduates right there. That middle picture is from our summer reading program. We are so fortunate to We Care. Any student that has signed up for our summer reading program. If they're attending We Care the Weaker, staff will walk them over during their program times. So we appreciate their support, that they make sure those kids are hitting those programs. We had a really hard reading challenge this summer, and if the kids did everything that they needed to do, they sat down with us and planned what they wanted to do for end of summer, and so they planned that they wanted to go to Wild Water West. So that's that picture up there. Our February reading challenge last year earned kids an invite to a Nerf gun tag night. So you can see Chief DePriest up there participating in our Nerf gun night, which we appreciate. Another initiative that we have started this fall is we do our normal after-school programs, but we also have a reading challenge. Started with 5 books a month. We've upped it to 8. So if students fill out their forms that they've read 8 books, they then get invited to an additional program at the end of the month. So in December, we went bowling at Sportsman's Lanes. Couple more highlights and then I'll be done, I promise. I could talk for 3 hours on the library, and I won't, so I'm just wrapping things up. One of our highlights from this summer is we actually had a gentleman from Sweden show up at the library. He was on a bucket list trip chasing genealogy, and when he got to Hawarden, he decided to come to the library. We were able to find his relative's headstone at the library. We were able to find the house where his relative lived. That's us outside the house. We were actually able to connect him with, he rented a room in a house. That's where things kind of got confused when we were researching. But we were able to connect him to the sons of the parents of the house that his relative had rented from. And the sons went through their photos. They're now in their 90s. They went through their photos and actually found a picture of this gentleman's relative who passed away in the 50s. And so he now has that picture framed at his home in Sweden. So that was a fun challenge we had researching and taking him around town. And so that was kind of a highlight of the summer. That other picture on the right is from our One Book, One Sioux County event with author Ariel Lawton. We do a garden exchange every summer, so we just have that right outside the library. If you have any additional produce from your garden, you throw it in the basket, and then if anybody sees it, they can take it. We also have a very small food pantry inside the entryway. We know we have the food pantry here in town, but if you just need something quick to supplement for a day or two, we have that, and that is actually, for the most part, patron-filled. We have people that will just sneak in quietly and fill it, and so very rarely do we need to go and purchase anything for it. Looking forward to 2026, we are excited to announce that as a Carnegie Library, we received a $10,000 gift in celebration of America's 250th birthday. Our plan is to use some of that to refresh the landscaping at the library. It's something that's kind of continued to fall towards the bottom of our list, but we're excited with this money that we can take a crack at that. It is also time for the time capsule to be unearthed. Time capsule was buried in 1976, so it is time for that to come up. The library met with the 5th grade teachers, because it was 5th graders in 1976 who buried that. And when the time capsule comes up, there's a note in there that says everything in it needs to come to the Hawarden Public Library. So we'll be working on a ceremony in May with the community and with the school to dig that up, and then the 5th graders will bury a new one. The Hawarden Public Library has unofficially adopted the Ruth Succo House at Calliope Village. We are going to take over the roles and responsibilities and work with the Ruth Succo Memorial Society. Ruth Succo was an Iowa author, and so we're excited for that new partnership. And then, as always, we are just going to continue to encourage people to get their library cards. That's a new library card holder we have up there. We also had somebody who is 60 that got their first library card yesterday. I unfortunately did not get a picture, but I should have to add it to my slideshow. So all ages at the library, we love to see it. I also just want to make sure that you know that my door is both literally and figuratively always open if you have questions or concerns. There's kind of some misinformation going on about public libraries right now on social media, if you see it. And if there's anything that you have a question about, please feel free to reach out. You can text me, you can call me, you can email me, or you can stop by. We love public libraries. We love Sioux County libraries. We love our library. And we want to keep it that way. So thank you so much for letting me share.
Thank you. That's a great report, Maddie, and we really do appreciate everything that the library does. It's really become one of the jewels of Hawarden, and keep up the good work. Going on to item 4, we've got appoint Jared Boyer to the Planning and Zoning Commission for a 5-year term.
All right. Like last meeting, I went through all the boards, found members that are expired and need to be re-upped that are appointed by the council. Jared did reach out and said that he was interested in continuing another term if you guys choose to reappoint him. He was a member of the Planning and Zoning Commission. It's a 7-person board, so in order for them to have a quorum, they would have to have 4 members at each meeting that they have. I have one meeting scheduled for tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. inside the chamber here for a property at 16th and L.
Okay, any questions or a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve Jared Boyer.
In a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 4-0. Thank you, Jared, for serving on the Planning and Zoning Commission, continuing to serve on that. We appreciate it very much. Number 5 is 16th Street FEMA site discussion.
So this is a 2-part discussion. The first part, we'll bring up the map shortly and discuss that. Colin Wiggins approached the city and talked about a possible land swap with the city near his property. As shown on the map there, he would like to purchase 20 feet west of his west property line, just to extend that property in case the city goes ahead with new housing development in that area. Just gives him a little more space there from his house. And then he proposes that the city would take 50 feet by 170 feet on that north section. Both those areas, just marked off on the map, are within 5 feet of equalness to each other. And once it's surveyed, we can get that down to even. And I guess right now the discussion is the city willing to entertain this swap? If so, it'll be treated like a land purchase, and there'll be a quitclaim deed both properties to one another. But that'll have to be a separate meeting with a
Couple of them will have to have public hearing. and all that
public
stuff,
hearing,
so.
yeah.
I mean, I don't see a problem with this. The city gains more usable land in the swap than what's sitting there now.
And if you see, it actually evens out the properties. When we end up developing that area, they'll be roughly 127 feet deep on both sides of the
That's what I
street
like
that
about
way.
Yeah.
Having those lots balanced on either side of that street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
I don't see a problem with it.
Okay, if, it's just a discussion, and if we have most people in favor, then we'll continue with it, and there'll be more processes to go through, so.
Yep.
And the second portion of this discussion would be, here's a drawing. And DGR this fall did a kind of a quick estimate of lots, and then cost to put water, sewer, and a little bit of storm sewer in this area to make it available for housing to move right in and connect up to all the utilities. And a curb, we'll do a curb on the west side, because now the road does have it does slant to the west, so we'll collect it on the west side, bring it down, and then it'll enter into that storm retention pond, which will stay. The engineer's estimate with cost, engineering, and contingency was $493,000 last fall. But of course, if we go ahead with this, there'll be bids, there'll be stuff, so this is a engineer's estimate. Cost per lot, if we broke this out and then charged it back to property owners, would be roughly 54,000. There is ways for the city to create the debt, use TIF monies to pay for the utility infrastructure, and then we sell the lots at a normal rate at what the city has been charging, or you guys set whatever you want. And you could sell those lots individually to homeowners to build, stick build, nice residential homes, or sell all 9 off to a developer. So right now, it's just a discussion how you'd like to proceed, if you want to proceed right away, not do anything up there.
Well, we got to make it marketable.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah, it's up to us to get the utilities to the lots
Yeah.
and make it,
I said we had this discussion once too. It was the cost of the lot would be whatever it would cost to have the utilities go in there.
yeah,
Was kind of what we talked
however,
about before.
yeah, there's different ways to,
I'd like to see us continue to move forward with it. I mean, we've got a nice city street up there now. I think it might look fairly attractive to somebody that was wanting to develop or build.
sure.
Yeah, I agree with Rob.
Okay, so the next steps, reach back out to the engineer, have him do a full engineering spec, and then we could go out for bids for the utilities that need to be installed. Natural gas needs to be installed up there. Our crew would do that ourselves. But water, sewer, and the curb would be the main cost of that. And then there'll be stubs. We'll run the sewer up the east side and the water up the west side, and then we'll stub across each one under the road, so each lot will have a connection right there.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll proceed with that in the next month or two.
Good. Thank you, Travis. Moving on to number 6 is a resolution 2026-06, approving the 2026 personnel policy update.
All right, so we brought this last meeting to look at. We've got a couple of those things that were pointed out, been pointed out. One of the, there was a 84 written as a number and an 86 written as the words. I've gone through and fixed those inside there. There was another section in there that had union and non-union employees paid at different rates if they're called in on vacation. And I actually just struck that and made it all just the same for everybody, so that if they get called in on vacation, they just get paid at time and a half, regardless of whether or not they are at the overtime limit. And those are the only changes that I made from what we had from last meeting, is updating those errors and striking that out of there.
Any questions on that? Okay. We need to vote on that, right? Or
Correct.
we-
It'll be a resolution, so I'll have to have a motion, second, and roll call.
Okay, yep. Could I
I'll
have
make a motion to approve resolution 2026-06.
And a second?
I'll second.
We've got a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Allen,
All right.
Boza,
Aye.
Clucky,
Aye.
Skelling.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you. Number 7 is the fiscal year 27 budget work session.
Okay, so this is our third time bringing up budgets, our third workshop for budgets. We are going to focus on the general fund budgets this meeting, and then after I get through the general fund budgets, we can go back and address anything else that anybody has any questions on. Before I get started on this, I will say that I have made updates to our sheets from last meeting. After reviewing the wages with the management committee and having our center benefits do a wage analysis on some of the non-unionized employees, there is one update to the enterprise funds for Travis Waterman's salary to go up, and then that is in all of those respectful budgets. Once I have finalized sheets, I will update our website with those as well. Increases across all the total utilities, including salary and benefits attached to them, is $13,680 split against all 4 utilities. This meeting, we need to kind of solidify our levy rate. That is the one that is at the top of this screen here. If I go, really should start bringing my, nope. That was not what I wanted to do. We'll open it back up again. But, so we are currently sitting at 13.02, which is down from last year. We had our levy rate being at 14.41. Right now, with the levy rate at that, we have enough to cover all the things that we have budgeted right now. And that will be the one thing that I have to kind of finalize today. Okay, let me get this pulled back up again and we'll kind of go through those general fund budget numbers. My mouse pad doesn't want to work too, so that's what's making it so interesting. Good thing it's touchscreen. All right. So, like I was saying, we're at 13.02, down from 14.01 with total revenues. And as I scroll down to the bottom, we have currently about 121 budgeted over revenue over expenditures. So that means that we have a little bit of room to work with over these general fund budgets, which will come into play with one of the requests that I received since our last council meeting. I would like to keep this number to be above like 50,000 for anything that may happen to come up for needing to have emergency type stuff that happens. But going in order, let's go ahead and just go to our legislative admin. This is going to be like our council and mayor expenses. Does anybody have any questions that were related with this tab? Hearing none, we'll move to the general admin. General admin is basically everything in the front office, including 90% of my salary, the finance and deputy clerk salary, and some of the custodial areas, and a lot of general expenses from the city. Does anybody have any questions on this tab? Hearing none, we'll move on to the PD. Does anybody have any questions on the police? Okay. Fire? Any questions? Ambulance? I will highlight one of them in the ambulance that has changed from last year is I am budgeting to put the assistant to $20 an hour. So that is currently already in here. Are there any questions? Hearing none, move to street snow. And again, most of the street expenses will come out of a special revenue fund, but these are ones that actually do hit the general fund. Does anybody have any questions? I maybe hit that button. Okay. How about the library fund? All right, so the recreation is going to have a few things here. Kind of breaks it down a lot. General rec, summer rec, swimming pool. Okay. And general programs. And this is the one where I will have one comment from the community when we get down to it. We have our storm spotters, flood control, street lights, animal control, historical house Calliope, youth programs, elections, cemetery. What am I doing? I'm moving something. Okay. Senior center, or senior citizens with the senior center support. And then we have economic development, and this is actually where I did get a request. The chamber had reached out, and they wanted to request that we look at our contribution to the chamber. And historically, they were at $30,000 going from 2007 until 2019. And then at 2020, we started decreasing it. We went down to 27,000. And then in 2023, they decreased it again to 21,500. The chamber has reached out and said that with a lot of their rising costs as well, they would like to see us increase our contributions back to them to the 30K that they used to be at. It's currently not budgeted that way, but this is something that I am willing to let you guys discuss and provide your direction that you would like to see that happen.
I guess I'd like to see it go back up to that level.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah.
Since 2020, the inflation's went up like quite a bit, and their costs has gone up too, and it's just not quite enough.
They're doing a lot more.
They're doing
too.
more.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think they're doing great things.
I agree.
Yep.
consensus on that.
And, yeah, and I will say that I think that just increasing that to $8,500 will not cause any negative impact on the general fund budget. Below
So
that, we have,
that would change it to 30,000, you said?
correct.
Okay.
And I'll make those adjustments, and then they will be out and put out there again for the next one. So, and then they'll be updated.
I guess, in my opinion, I think it's a good move to go back to that 30,000, but I wouldn't be opposed to us looking at funding them even a little more, considering that it was 30,000 6 years ago. So,
I'm seeing some head shake.
I'd like to see him in the $35,000 range, I think, personally. They do a lot for the community, they bring in a lot, so.
Derek?
That's
I'm good with that too. $5,000 isn't gonna break us.
Rob? You all right with that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
do it.
I'll mark that as a change. Okay. Good there? Golf course? Community center. Now, this isn't necessarily where I would inject this because the expense won't land here, but I do want to bring up that we are going to be looking at quoting for new carpet in the community center within the next year. That's more going to come out of like a capital funds that we've been putting away for that center. But I just wanted to bring that up to give you guys a heads up that in the future I may bring quotes and request that we look at replacing that. And then last inside this is the parks and playground. And then this is where we have the tree removal entered in there, and then also the camper pad replacement, the ones that are highlighted, so.
Yeah, just an update, the guys have been hitting trees really hard, they're doing a good job, so hopefully if we keep this up and keep the contract, maybe we can be where we need to be in 2 years instead of 4 years, so, they'll continue to do a good job and get as many down as they can, so.
And that brings us to my last tab, which is the capital facility fund that I was mentioning earlier. This is where I would eventually look to do that, but I don't even have a remote clue of how much it would cost for carpet, so I'd need to get a couple estimates before I could even start guessing how much we would need to spend there. So, is there any conversation that you guys want to have about anything that we went about here for the general fund budgets?
well, I think it's good to point out that we're going from a 14.41 levy to a 13.02. I mean, we're saving the general public over a full point on their levy.
Yeah.
Going in line with the state's vision of trying to lower the levy rates and help with the tax burden on citizens. So,
Looks good.
all right, given that there's no questions on that, I'll close the general fund discussion. Does anybody have any questions about any of the budget at all? Enterprise, special, general fund that we need to discuss? Remember, anything that you guys want to discuss to potentially change, the sooner we talk about it, the easier it is for me to get the changes in and get them put into there and get it input onto the state form so that we can get it submitted. So, yeah. So, just real quick before we end it, we'll go to that, the rut, which actually has most of the streets' expenses budgeted in there, right? So we get road use tax funds from the state of Iowa to use towards improving our roads and our workers that work on the roads. Where it has our seal coat and our salaries, and that's where most of the expenses will hit. That's why it's not in the general fund budget.
Yeah, it's a special use fund, so it has to be used for streets, street equipment, employees. So you'll see the seal coating. We'll do seal coating this year. We skipped that last year because we just weren't sure where we were going to sit with all the flood expense and stuff. So
Right.
it's back in this schedule, and I think last year's reflects extra savings from the snow. We didn't have any snow costs last year, so.
Really haven't had it too bad this year either so far.
Didn't even stop snowing.
Don't worry, it quit out there. Yeah.
Okay. Moving on, we do not have a consent agenda tonight, so we will go on to adjourning the meeting. Our next meeting is March 11th, 2026. We'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
In a second.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning at this time, please say aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. Thank you.
Just a reminder, I need 3 signatures from council members before you head out. The budget, we have